Some of the fastest and smartest drone hunters Ukraine has managed to put together so far have begun taking off to destroy Russian attackers long before they can find their targets. They are known as the JEDI Shahed Hunters, and no one seems to know exactly where they came from. Whenever analysts refer to its creators, they are simply called the manufacturer, which some believe is a way to keep weapons producers safe from a potential Russian attack. Some analysts have attempted to gather more details about the system by consulting Brave One, an online government platform where people can find listings for some of the most notable weapons used by Ukraine in its war against Russia. However, that hasn't provided much more clarity about the mysterious system. While the site lists packages for the JEDI Hunter, ranging from $77,000 to $100,000, experts can't seem to agree on the individual cost of each unit. Some analysts, however, suggest a price point of around $1,500 for a daytime model and around $2,000 for a night version, equipped with a thermal imaging system. At that price, the JEDI could represent a game-changer for anti-drone defense strategies. For comparison, during the opening weeks of Operation Epic Fury in Iran, America had to deploy hundreds of Patriot interceptors, each costing somewhere between $6 and $10 million, to bring down the same Shahed units Ukraine is up against. A low price point, however, means little if JEDI hunters aren't able to deliver an effective strike against incoming threats. Luckily for the Ukrainians, their new weapons do not seem to be disappointing on the battlefield. Despite having a somewhat unconventional quadcopter configuration and a modest 1-pound payload, the system can reach nearly 220 miles per hour, considerably surpassing the 115 miles per hour maximum velocity of the Russian drones. And once they reach their targets, all it takes is one well-aimed strike to bring them down. Captured footage shows Russian attackers darting across the field at top speed, only to be caught almost immediately by the much smaller Ukrainian hunters, flying at them like bullets. This ability to catch enemies in record time is particularly important for the JEDIs, given that the drones have just enough energy to sustain a flight of only 12 to 15 minutes. To maximize their efficiency, in addition to their blistering speeds, the drones can also locate and engage incoming threats by connecting to local radar networks, which automatically notify them when a threat is located. Aside from going after attack drones, it's also been reported that the JEDIs are capable of bringing down reconnaissance units, reducing Russia's ability to gain intelligence on their systems or identify strike targets. According to reports, a pack of JEDI Shahed Hunters can protect almost 25 miles of terrain. Of course, that can vary depending on the radar network they use and the exact location they take off from. Still, as many experts have noted, while Ukraine is working to perfect its drone interceptor strategies, the Russians are not standing still. According to recent reports, Shahed drones have begun heading toward Ukrainian targets at low altitudes to dodge radar systems, as well as taking off with cameras, so that the moment a Ukrainian defender moves to intercept them, ground crews can attempt to maneuver the drone out of the way. Nevertheless, the JEDI hunters remain one of the most promising lines of defense against Russian drones recently deployed, and it's been reported that the mysterious manufacturer behind them is producing around 1,000 units each month to boost Ukraine's forces. The CH-47 Chinook, one of the biggest and longest-serving aircraft in America's arsenal, is set to receive a new suite of weapons that could turn it into one of the most advanced helicopters on the planet. It's not that the Chinook has been lagging behind. Ever since its first missions over the skies of Vietnam back in the 60s, the aircraft has proven to be one of the most capable heavy-lift helicopters ever built, able to deliver vehicles, artillery batteries, and ammunition loads as heavy as 8,000 pounds during its early deployments, into terrain no ground platform could ever reach. Today, the latest version of the helicopter, the CH-47F Block II, can carry up to 28,000 pounds of useful load, enough in some configurations to lift a military vehicle internally, while still allowing it to drag additional cargo externally using its triple-hook sling system. Even more impressive, packing a duo of engines capable of delivering almost 5,000 horsepower each, the aircraft can reach speeds of up to 187 miles per hour, meaning it can give even some of the fastest American utility helicopters, like the UH-60 Blackhawk, a run for their money. However, Boeing, the company behind the Chinook, seems convinced that the helicopter can go even further, and the best way to achieve that is by linking itself to the newest technologies. In a recent concept video released by Boeing, the aircraft is seen opening its rear ramp to reveal a 16-cell launcher, from which a set of drones is deployed in quick succession. While the company did not specify the exact details of the unmanned assets it plans to equip the helicopter with, some experts have noted that in recent years, the U.S. Army has issued requirements for aircraft-launched drones weighing up to 225 pounds and with a combat range of up to 404 miles. What Boeing did reveal in the concept video, however, is how it intends to use these drones. Spreading out ahead of the helicopter, these unmanned units would act as a sort of shield when crews venture into dangerous territory. Using internal sensors and cameras, each drone could continuously monitor the battlefield, reporting back to its mothership the moment it identifies a threat, and giving it just enough time to adjust its route. Of course, surveillance is not the only role these drones could play. While the company did not explicitly state that it intends to use them for direct strikes, military officials have previously noted that these types of unmanned systems could also carry active payloads, conduct electronic attacks, or even be used as loitering munitions. If drones with these capabilities were eventually deployed from the Chinook, it could represent one of the biggest upgrades in its offensive potential, especially for a helicopter that has traditionally relied on a few medium machine guns for defense rather than direct attack. Aside from its drone upgrade, the company also hinted at the addition of advanced autopilot capabilities, potentially powered by artificial intelligence. While the current version of the Chinook has already proven capable of carrying out automated descents and landings during recent tests, these upgrades could reduce the number of personnel needed on board during real-world operations, even during complex maneuvers like pinnacle landings in contested environments. While it's not immediately clear when Boeing plans to begin integrating these new capabilities into the Chinook, analysts already see this as a clear indication of where aircraft development is headed. The most prolific warship class in the U.S. Navy could be about to be armed with a new weapon whose full power is still unknown. Speculation began to mount in early April when observers noticed something peculiar in a picture taken by the U.S. Marine Corps at Pearl Harbor. In it, the destroyer USS Carl M. Levin can be seen sporting a strange launcher on her deck. The system in question is located at the stern of the ship, where it stands out as a lonesome, compact unit that not even military experts could immediately identify. Initial speculation pointed to the strange system being a Joint Air-to-Ground Missile, or JAGM launcher, designed by Lockheed Martin, an all-weather attack munition capable of honing in on specific targets, even when deployed across battlefields saturated with multiple threats. A weapon like this could be used to target surface vessels or to neutralize unmanned attackers and other low-flying targets. This theory appears even more likely when considering that Lockheed Martin has previously showcased models of Arleigh Burke destroyers, the same family to which the USS Carl M. Levin belongs, sporting JAGM launchers in the same section where the mysterious new weapon was seen. However, there have been no official statements, either by the company or the U.S. Navy, about any partnership to upgrade America's destroyers, leaving many to consider a different explanation. In 2025, the U.S. Navy announced that it would strengthen some of its Arleigh Burke-class destroyers with 2 drone interceptor systems, Raytheon's Coyote and Anduril's Roadrunner M. Both weapons can remain airborne for extended periods of time before engaging a target. The Roadrunner M can even return for refueling and relaunch if not used, providing crews on board the ships with effective aerial cover without putting a single pilot at risk. Still, at the time, it was only reported that 2 ships would be carrying these systems, USS Bainbridge and USS Winston S. Churchill. More importantly, the launchers for these anti-drone munitions do not resemble the unit seen on board USS Carl M. Levin. This suggests that even if the Navy is trying to give the ship a way to counter aerial threats, it's choosing to do so by using a weapon no other Arleigh Burke destroyer appears to have carried before. Some have suggested the system could be the White Spike anti-drone launcher developed by Zone 5 Technologies. While images released by the company show a slightly different silhouette, the similarities in its compact design and elevated firing configuration suggest that if it isn't the same system, it likely serves a very similar role. The White Spike can launch rocket-powered missiles capable of traveling over 30 miles to find their targets in the air and on the ground. And while it hasn't been reported that the Navy is ready to start installing the system on its destroyers, it has been noted that the system has been under consideration in recent years by the Pentagon as a new line of defense against aerial drones. And so, while there is still no confirmation about what USS Carl M. Levin's new launcher is set to do, all clues seem to point to a primary role as a defender for the new age of naval warfare, one in which strikes don't come from traditional enemy vessels, but from swarms of airborne attackers being commanded miles away from the front lines. If that is the case, and America incorporates these systems across the rest of the Arleigh Burke destroyer family, one of the most numerous in the U.S. arsenal, with 74 units built, the nation could gain an armada that can deliver a formidable punch against the enemy, with a shield powerful enough to ensure no strike can come even close to their hulls. The rifles of U.S. Marines are learning how to find targets on their own, and soon, they may be going up against enemy targets. This upgrade is all thanks to a smart scope built by the company Smart Shooter Incorporated, known as the Smash 2000L, a discreet 2.6-pound add-on that can immediately turn a conventional hand-carried weapon, such as the M4 carbine assault rifle, into a portable computer system that helps troops spot, lock, and shoot down moving targets across diverse battlefields. The system itself has been under development and testing for some years. However, it was not until 2025 that officials confirmed that Marines would finally start receiving it. Now, members of the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit were photographed practicing with the Smash 2000L, while on board the amphibious transport dock USS Portland, as they made their way to the Middle East. Right now, the shooting test is just being labeled as a training exercise. However, there is still a chance that these smart scopes could soon see some action in an American operation, potentially marking their first use by U.S. Marines in combat. While America hasn't called for a ground operation against Iran, the Smash 2000L is said to be especially useful for neutralizing small drone attackers, meaning Marines could use them to help destroy incoming threats from the decks of their ships before they can land a direct hit. Normally, bringing down fast-moving drones with a single gunshot would represent a tall order, even for the most skilled riflemen. However, when implementing the Smash 2000L, the odds suddenly change. The scope is set to function as a regular sight until the shooter locates a target that needs some extra help to bring down. Scott Thompson, vice president at the company behind the system, has explained, quote, "If you're in a dismounted environment and you need to switch to drone mode, it's very simple. It's just a double click of a button on top of the optic, and you move automatically into drone mode. Instead of a ground target, you're now looking for a much smaller center of mass to engage." While the company hasn't shared many details about exactly how the Smash 2000L manages to acquire its target, Army soldiers who have previously tested the system have revealed how it looks in action. As soon as the smart scope is activated, the threat ahead is boxed in. Then a smaller second box, sometimes called the lead box, pops up. It's up to the soldier shooting to line up those two markers. The rifle won't fire before that, ensuring that the moment the bullets come out, they have the best possible chance of landing a direct hit. Of course, in the event that the system fails, or that for whatever reason, a soldier needs the freedom to shoot, the drone tracking program can be shut down just as easily, returning the rifle to its conventional configuration. Whether or not U.S. Marines use this system against Iranian drones flying across the Middle East, the Smash 2000L Smart Scope will most likely see notable service across all military branches in the years to come, given its extensive versatility. Aside from targeting drones, the Smart Shooter Company has highlighted that its scope systems can also be used to help track enemy personnel day or night during ground operations. And thanks to their ability to remain operational for up to 3 days before needing to recharge, soldiers can use them during long missions when they are far from command. The systems are reportedly so intuitive and easy to use that soldiers need minimal training to master them, meaning America can deploy these smart scopes to significantly boost its ground troops without spending too much time or resources.